Cheers. Ooh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you've been here before. My name is Kate.
How to do, partner? I'm Chuck.
People love when I bring Chuck on for an actual sit-down video. It's only happened once before in our 4.5 years of being together. But the most exciting thing of my life, and I think maybe your life as well, besides the Ohio-Georgia game, was us getting engaged.
Yeah. No, this is definitely more than, you know, the Peach Bowl.
We've watched the reruns a million times. I posted on Instagram a couple months ago asking if people wanted to see, like, hear the story of us getting engaged, because I'm a wedding photographer. As a lot of y'all know, I shoot so many proposals. I feel like I'd pick up on everything and I would know what's going on. And I thought for a fact I would know that it was coming, and he truly did everything in his power to make sure I did not. And I didn't know, and it was literally the best surprise ever because he put so much thought into it. And so men, if you're proposing, listen up, think of it all, because women, we will find out if you're not slick with it. So a lot of this is gonna be Chuck explaining. I'm gonna be jumping in here and there, and let's get into where it all began. All right, take it away, baby.
Starting off, it starts with the ring. The big part of it took a lot to get the ring and figure out the perfect ring and everything for the woman. She actually told me exactly what she wanted, basically. So it's pretty easy on that front, but the part about actually getting it, finding a spot to get it and all that stuff was a bit more challenging than I had thought. I had looked up Brilliant Earth, all that stuff, and I didn't really want to go that route. I didn't want to just have it, you know, mail ordered or anything like that.
Pre-made.
Yeah, pre-made, just like something anybody can get.
No offense, because I was looking at Brilliant Earth and also a couple different options, but he really wanted to have his own little personal touches to it. Yeah,
I wanted it to be personal. So luckily for me, one of my best friends, Bryce, he actually has a family jeweler that ended up helping me out. They had put me in contact with somebody that was able to kind of custom build her ring the way that I want it to be. She told me up front, like, I just get a moissanite and a couple different other specs, like the yellow gold, pretty what's it, solitaire band and stuff like that. All the things that I know now that I didn't know before.
He didn't know that it took like a few months to order a ring.
Yeah, I did not know that. I thought that was just call in ahead and be like, hey, I'm coming to get a ring, and they're like, hey, meet you there. So there was that. It actually did take a little bit more, and luckily Bryce was there to help me out, put me in contact with somebody who actually was able to kind of, you know, guide me through the process and help me make it something from me to her, not just like a out of the box type of thing. So that was amazing, and that is also part of a little funny part about getting the ring. So my contact that Bryce had given me, her name is Shelly. She kind of does custom engagement rings and stuff like that. And I was texting her back and forth the entire way, you know, hey, I want this, I want this. There was some miscommunication there, which led to even more texting back and forth, like making sure we were both on the same page. And in the middle of all that, me and Kate ended up going to dinner. And while we were at dinner, Kate decided that she was going to look at my phone. I just put my phone up. It's facing up because I'm not a secretive guy. Like I want to
like his green flag is like he does not, like, he's not weird about.
Sorry, there's a dog.
One of my favorite things about him is he's not like super weird with his phone. He just like, he doesn't care, and that makes it so like there's all that trust. So Chuck leaves his phone face up on the table, and I just like, we're eating dinner, we're at like a small circular table. I look down on it and I see a short name with an S, and I was like, what? And so immediately my head goes to one of our friends, Stelly, because they text all the time and it's short S name, no big deal. But then I started really thinking about it, and I was like, Stelly, I think, has an emoji by his name. And so I asked Chuck, and he was like straight up like, oh yeah, he has this flag next to his name. And I was like, then who are you texting? Is it a girl? And he's like, yeah. And I was like,
yeah, I kind of fucked that whole thing up. fellas, if you're trying to surprise your woman and she catches you talking to the person building it, it's a woman, just make it a different name. Say it's a dude. Say it's a dude. Because that's like obviously you don't want your fella talking to a bunch of chicks and stuff.
Yeah, it was really weird.
And then she was like, obviously she asked me, she was like, is it a boy or a girl? I was like, oh, it's a girl, not thinking. She was like, why the fuck you texting a girl? I was like, and like didn't know where to go from there. So
yeah,
I recovered, don't know how. Got the actual ring, and the ring actually ended up, it was shipped to me because she lives a little bit further away. But that was another issue because she shipped it and I knew the day it was coming because she had texted me. She was like, hey, it's gonna arrive on this day. And I was like, sick, I'm gonna be here because I work from home. Like, I'm always here. But she didn't tell me, and I don't think she knew that it was gonna come at 7 o'clock in the morning. So Kate, she doesn't go in until a little bit later on, like not way after, but like definitely after 7. She's still at the house. So me and her are still in bed and we're just hanging out, sleeping, snoozing, all that jazz. And with the fucking doorbell rings. And I'm like, oh, I know what that is. And
I jump. If there's a sound outside the house, if there's a knock on the door, I'm up. I'm awake. I'm the most paranoid person ever. I'm looking through the blinds. Like, Chuck's like, I got it. But I was tired. It was 7. I'm not a morning person. So I was like, you got it.
Yeah, she was sound asleep and I was like, no, I know what that is. I'm getting that. Cause like, I don't want it to sit out there, and also like, I know if I don't get it, she will. So went out there, grabbed it, came inside and like went in my office and like hid it like behind a bunch of boxes and stuff, and came back and she was like, what was that? I was like, oh, it was a package. She was like, oh, was it for me or you? And I was like, oh, it was for me. She was like, oh, what'd you get? I was like,
I wanted a haul.
Yeah, she wanted me to put on like a haul video. I was like, no. Like, I was like, it's stuff. Just went back and forth and finally got her to chill out. She went to work and like I like actually got to pull it out and look at it because it's like, oh, okay, like spent all this time talking to Shelly, getting it, I hope it's perfect. And I pulled it out and sure as shit, it was perfect. It was everything I wanted it to be, everything I hoped that she wanted it to be. But we got it in our hands, everything like that. Keep in mind, I have still not asked Mark for his permission to marry her. So we had a trip, that was probably late October, early November, when the ring actually came in, and then we had a trip planned to go up to Warren, Pennsylvania to see her family and everything like that. And I had already made it up in my mind that that's going to be when I ask Mark if it's okay to marry her. Ask him for his blessing and everything like that. It was one of those things I wanted to be like super sentimental, not like emotional or anything like that, but like I wanted it to mean a lot because I'm only doing this once in my life. So I want it to be right. I want to do it the right way. I didn't want it to be a phone call, didn't want to send them a letter in the mail, nothing like that. So I knew that was when I was going to do it. And
you waited for the last day.
I did. Well, I wasn't really waiting for the last day. I was more so like looking for the perfect time, but as I'm sure that many people kind of relate to that, like you look for the right time to do it, and like the right time never seems to come, and then it's the last day and you're like, ah shit, I gotta do it. So the last day comes and me and him are sitting on the couch drinking bourbon and watching football. He's like doing his own thing, like we're both chit-chatting. I'm freaking out because I'm like, okay, like I came up here like obviously to spend time with the family, but like I need to ask him for his blessing. And I kept looking for the right time, and I was sitting there, I was like, do I do it now? Like I was like, this is kind of like not the most picturesque moment to do it. Like it doesn't seem like the right time, but like the right time might not come, all that stuff. And as I'm going through all this fucking mental anguish, Mark just sitting there,
My dad is like the chillest, like calmest guy.
And he's just sitting back and he just points the remote up, pauses the TV. He was like, well, now that we're sitting here just amongst ourselves.
He was gonna ask Chuck like what his intentions were because we had like bought a house and we had been together for a long time, and he was just like,
Yeah, and rightfully so, but he paused the TV and was like, so now that we've got some time to ourselves, and I like just threw my hand up. I was like, Mark?
I was at Walmart.
Stop. Yeah, she was at Walmart with her mother and I think grandma. I threw my hand up. I was like, stop. I think I know what you're about to ask, but I have a question that's more pertinent at this time. And he was like, okay, what do you got? And, you know, asked him, I was like, well, you know, we love you guys. Obviously, I think the world of y'all and everything like that, and kind of just threw it out there and was like, well, I mean, I would love to have your blessing to marry Kate and everything. And he was like, I would love nothing more. And we had nice little, you know, father-in-law, son-in-law moment, whatever you call those.
We both like hit the in-law jackpot. Like genuinely, we both love our in-laws so much. Yeah. It's so nice. Yeah. I'm like, do you? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No. I love Mark and Dee. They're amazing. I couldn't ask for better in-laws. Lord knows I've heard in-law horror stories, so I definitely feel like I hit the jackpot there.
Okay, now the planning section, which I feel like was the hardest, especially with someone like me. I'm very observant. I feel like it's not the right word, but I'm very like, I notice little small changes in people's behaviors and I start to pick up on things really easily. And like I said, I shoot weddings. So let's talk about the planning.
The biggest part that was the biggest, like it took the most planning, which was actually getting her to Chattanooga.
So Chattanooga, for those of y'all that don't know, is like our place. Like that's where we met, or
yeah.
Not where we met. Yeah. It's like when we went and I was like, we're in Nashville and we're in Chattanooga. So Chattanooga is like our place, just for like where I feel like our like love really stemmed from. It was where we went on our first anniversary trip. We had like really deep talks, and that's when we like really loved each other. I feel like we had already like loved each other, but we were in love at that point, and we take trips all the time up there. So he knew that was like the place for us.
The biggest part was figuring out how to get her to Chattanooga. And my idea at the time, and the way it played out, was I was going to have my friend Gino, who I used to work for, ask me to go to Chattanooga or Dunlap, Tennessee, and get a contract signed in person, which isn't outlandish. It's not like a strange thing to do. It happens all the time. But
and his phone is like ancient AF, so yeah. He literally has to talk on speakerphone on his phone. Like that's like a thing. It always has been. So he took the call from Gino, who's like, oh, Gino's calling me. It was like a Tuesday night or something. And he like walks into this, like the kitchen area, and takes the call. And of course I can hear him. I'm in the living room, but I don't really think too much of it. Also, Taya's screaming at us for pets under the table. But yeah.
Yeah, so I had him give me a call and kind of give me a reason to go up to Chattanooga. But also at the same time, I think it might have already been planned, but I had Kate invite Kate,
yeah, his little sister,
go wedding dress shopping. She's getting married as well. I put her up to it. I was like, hey, invite her to go wedding shopping, yada yada.
And like she and I went through like dates and everything. Like it felt legit. Like we needed to go wedding dress shopping. Like it wasn't like.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is like her having the schedule that she has. Like I know I have to free her up, and I have to make it seem like I have stuff to do. So those two things kind of knocked that out of the park, and got it ready to go. And then as we got closer, probably a day, 2 days before, Kate ended up canceling on you to do the wedding dress shopping.
Because his mom.
Yeah, my mom actually like broke her ankle like trying to step over a gas hose or something like that at the gas station. Lovable gal, but she's just not quite an athlete. Love her.
She's like 4'9". Like
yeah, she
literally like I felt so bad because you can just envision it. So her canceling on me like totally made sense. And then I had another shoot scheduled for Sunday because like I book up, like I stay busy, like he was saying, especially during like beginning of the year into spring. So I had a shoot scheduled. Luckily that shoot had to reschedule, but she wasn't involved in any of this. Like she literally just rescheduled on me. Thank God.
That was another big thing. Cause like, I think the week before, like 2 weeks before, she got an inquiry like, oh, like, are you doing anything Sunday? And she's like, no. So she went ahead and planned on that. And I was like, damn, like I'm proposing to this girl like Saturday midday. Like I want to enjoy it. Like that sucks that we're going to have to like do our thing and end up coming right back the next morning or even that night if need be. But luckily they ended up, I guess, canceling or something like that. Through the grace of God. That was clutch. But yeah, once we got all that taken care of, it was finding a photographer. Because Lord knows Caitlin Diegbert is a photographer herself. That's what she does, like that's her thing. So I was like, I'm not gonna rob her of that joy. So started to try to find different photographers and stuff like that. Lord knows that's a whole process. I'm sure a lot of you have been through that before. But the average quote was like, I think $1,200 because they're adding all this and that and the other. And finally I find a guy named Rich. I don't know the name of his company offhand, but
it'll be tagged right here.
Yeah, it's gonna be tabbed down yonder.
Rich was amazing. He's
yeah, Rich
nice
is awesome. Love the guy to death. He did great. He worked with me through the entire thing.
He got us our pictures back like that night.
I think we were still at the bar.
Yeah.
When we ended up getting our pictures. And then it comes to day of. So day of, I've got the ring out in my Jeep. It's in my little cargo things in the Jeep. And I'm like, okay, well, I gotta get the ring. Gotta get the ring, put it in my pocket, cause like I didn't want it to be like one of those like weird things like, why'd you go in the back of the car? Like, oh, whatever. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go get us breakfast. So went, got us Chick-fil-A, and
which like this isn't rare, like so it didn't give me any kind of indication. Like he does shit like that for me.
Yeah, like it's the weekend. Like I want us to enjoy it. I was like, hey, usually I'll cook on the weekends, but this day I was like, I'm gonna get Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been cooking all day today.
I went, got Chick-fil-A, gave me a chance to actually like put the ring in my pocket and make it not like a weird thing. We ate, and she decided that she was gonna try to bail. She was trying to flake out on me.
I don't do spontaneous trips, so the fact that like a day before I decided I was coming, if it were a proposal, like I would have my nails fresh, I would have had my hair washed. I didn't have either of those. Like I was wearing a hat in my engagement pictures because my hair was on day 2 hair, and my hair gets fairly greasy fairly quick. So yeah, so I was trying to bail.
Yeah, just trying to bail, and I knew what she was trying to do.
I was also trying to like feel him out and see if he was like, if it was a proposal or not, because like Chattanooga is our place, but I kept going back to Gino and him saying like, I need you to do this because Gino's serious about work. So I was like, nah, he would actually like have Chuck do that. Like that's totally normal.
Yeah, and the whole thing was like, hey, you don't have to come, but like it would be nice. Like it's our town. Like we can make a day of it. You're not doing anything.
Jake and Lauren.
Yeah, and there was so many like very subtle things that kind of added to the why she should go. And it got to day of, and Caitlin Diegbert fashion was like, I think I might just stay at the house. And it took everything in me to not be like, no, you're fucking going. But I was calm, cool, collected. I was like, okay, like, I mean, that's fine. Like, you don't have to go. Like, it's fine. But, you know, I think Lauren would like to see you. I mean, it's our city. You're not doing anything. Like, we don't get many opportunities like this. So, I mean, I would love for you to go, but like I said, like, you ain't got to. And just put it out there like that to try to be, you know, subtle yet like, hey, come on, let's go.
Yeah, and I wanted to see Lauren, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, so ended up finally getting her on board, and throughout this whole process, the ring is in my pocket, and I keep thinking that like my pocket's opening up and everything like that. I think she sees it. I think she sees it, and immediately after I'm like thinking all this, she's like, oh well, I think I'm gonna wear the same outfit I wore to Ponce. Which, like, if you don't know the story, like when we went to Ponce, she thought she was getting proposed to, so she wore this beautiful green checkered jacket.
But he wore like this green shirt. We just looked so cute.
We looked fantastic.
We were so cute.
Yeah, but she threw that out, and I was like, oh my God, this bitch knows. Like, she knows that I'm about to propose. So I was like, mediocrely pissed, but mediocrely like, okay, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still proposing today. That doesn't change anything. I was like, okay, whatever. So she goes, gets dressed. We get in the car. We're on our way.
I didn't wear that, by the way.
Yeah, she did not wear that. She wore something definitely
Which,
different.
if I knew, I would have worn something like completely different than what I wore, but
I thought you looked
that
amazing,
jacket was like falling apart.
That jacket looked fantastic.
Thank you.
First things first, we gotta get gas. So we stopped at the racetrack right down the road from us, and she was like, oh, can you get me a coffee? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a drink anyway too. So go in there, completely just disregard the situation at hand, and leave my phone in front of God and everybody, Caitlin D. Egbert included.
And like, they had a group chat with like all these people that were there waiting for us, like my parents, his parents. Like, I thank God I'm chilling. I'm taking Snapchats of myself. I'm talking to Katie. I'm talking to my friend Lauren. I'm just like chatting them up, and then didn't even think about checking his phone. Also, it didn't like buzz. If it buzzed like a lot, apparently they had made a separate group chat with just the people that were there without you. Yeah,
Bryce, or I think I had made a group chat with everybody that was gonna meet us up there afterwards. And we had like texted a little bit, but thank God for Bryce, because Bryce was like, oh, we don't need to be spamming his inbox with proposal stuff.
Smart boy.
Yeah, so he made a completely separate, group message without me in it. And they were communicating through that, which thank God, because I didn't even know. Like, I was just like, all right, everybody knows where to be at what time. Like, we're just gonna meet them there. Thank God they didn't text, but that beside the point. I left my phone in there, and it got in there, and I'm ready to pay, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, my phone is right in front of her.
He's like looking at the car to see if I pick up this phone.
I'm telling you, I'm like looking through the glass, like, what's going on? Like, what's she doing? So it was, I was a bit freaked out, but I got in there and grabbed my phone, like, not like super quick or anything, but like grabbed it just to check, to make sure she had not opened it. And she didn't, because she's a gracious woman.
So then we're driving down the road, and we're like probably almost-ish there. My friend Nini calls me to talk about work and some other stuff. So, she calls me, we talk a little bit, and then she is like, hey, are you with Chuck's family yet? And I was like, oh no, because she thought I was going wedding dress shopping. He didn't tell her about the proposal. But in his mind, he's so like hyper-focused on this that he's thinking she just spilled the beans. So he's like internally like,
I was fucking pissed.
He was like, nay!
Because she got off the phone, and I like heard her talking about it like a little bit, and it sounded like she was talking about my family and stuff, and I was like, what? And then I was like, what were y'all talking about? And she was like, oh, she was just wondering if I was with your family and stuff. I was like, the fuck, why? And like, I was pissed, because I've heard so many horror stories about like folks spilling beans about, engagement parties, like girls telling girls like all this stuff and like giving them heads up and everything. Like, I did not want that. He didn't even
tell like the people that were going until like right before. Like, he gave my parents like very short notice to get there.
No, I gave your parents like plenty of notice.
Okay, we get closer to Chattanooga, and Chuck's like, oh, by the way, there's an event going on in downtown Chattanooga, so we have to take, like, there's a bunch of roads blocked off, which is totally normal for that city.
Yeah.
We have to park at this parking garage and then walk across the bridge, because the bar that we were meeting Jake and Lauren at were like, it was right next to the bridge. So that was like pretty standard to me. I was like, okay, so we parked over there and we started walking.
Yeah.
And me, being me, there was 2 big dogs that were being walked, like big Great Danes. So I'm walking next to him, like petting the pupper, like asking them about their dogs, and they're being so nice, and Chuck's just like...
I'm just counting down the yards, because like, we're going on the bridge, and I wanted there's big blue beams and stuff that come over the bridge, and I was like, I want those to be in the picture. So luckily, we caught the dogs like right there towards the front.
At the very beginning.
Yeah, and
then,
we were like walking, petting them, and she's like chatting up a storm. And meanwhile, I'm just like, okay, like feel free to get the hell out of here, like.
But then I see this man standing on one side of the bridge, and I see a family of like a mom and a daughter, or 2 daughters. I can't remember; it happened so fast. Standing on the other side of the bridge. So they're like this, and we're walking in the middle. And me being a photographer, I'm like, Chuck, don't get in front of him. Don't get in front of him. And so I'm like pulling Chuck out of the way, and he knows that that's the guy.
Yeah, that's our boy Rich.
And I'm like,
Rich.
You're getting in his way. Like, no. And so Chuck like just starts pulling me to the middle-ish.
Well, I saw him, and I was like, okay, like I need to walk in the middle. I was like, because the whole idea is like the bridge is symmetrical. Like I want to be in the middle, like make it a nice little, beautiful little picture. And so I see Rich, and originally he's off to the side, and he sees us come up, and then he starts taking pictures of his family. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like just steadfast going down the middle of the bridge. And Rich comes out, and he like kind of gets in my way, and she was like, watch out, watch out. And I was like, oh, okay, like it's all good. I like looked over at Rich, was like, hey man, excuse me, like sorry, I didn't mean to get in the way. And he was like, dude, you're fine. And I was like, thanks. I figured it would be, but thanks. Thankfully, like we got like right in the front, and I'm still walking in the middle, and she's like, no, get over to the side.
Because I'm a rule follower, like wave traffic, flow of traffic.
That's not even how traffic moves, but she was trying to get to the left way, and I was like, I wanted to be in the middle. We were gonna be in the middle no matter what I did. So I just finally I just grabbed her. I was like, you, come here. She was like, what are you doing? I was like, this. And then I like got on one knee, pulled the ring out, and she was like, what? Like, I was like,
hey. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah, she's like, is this happening? I was like, yeah. And so like,
and he doesn't say anything, and I don't say yes.
Yeah, I didn't say nothing.
And like, he didn't put the ring on my finger, so we're just staring at each other, like.
Well, mediocre freak out like right before I had a bunch of people texting me, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm trying to make sure, like, because I had a bunch of witty things to say, like some creative ways to ask her to marry me, and then like the dog and like getting out of the way of Rich and everything, like I was just like, okay, I'm over it, like we're just doing this thing. So I get down on one knee, and I see her fall, or not fall, but like she like breaks down and everything.
But I couldn't cry. I was more like,
it was just more like a hyperventilating, like in the cutest of ways, but like hyperventilating for sure. And I fucking blanked. Like I was just so in the moment, like I was on one knee, I was like, this is what I've been waiting for, this is what I've been working for, and all that stuff. And she just like looked at me, and I was like, so yes? She's like, I mean, yeah.
And then I like shoved my hand in your face, like put it on me. Because he was just like, okay. And I was like,
yeah, so got it on there, and luckily Rich and his family, he actually ended up inviting his family out there because they were kind of in the area. They heard what he was doing.
They're like the good decoys, and I would have like, you know, I pay attention to photographers. I'm curious about what they're doing, so I'm like, So him having them there, it was very helpful.
Yeah, no, they were great.
So nice. Yeah. So you did it.
Yeah, so did it.
We walked to this, we started walking, and Chuck's like trying to get me to like go the rest of the way, and I just want to stop and take it in, like, because I'm so overwhelmed, and just like, so we went off to the side, and I just like cried, and like like baby bawled my eyes out, like, and so I was like, oh, who's here? And he was like, no one's here, like your parents just left, like I couldn't get them back in time. And I was like, okay, like that's fine, I get it.
I mean, the whole time that like the idea was me and her were meeting our friends Jake and Lauren at Whiskey Thief, which is a bar on a rooftop of a hotel in Chattanooga.
Like right after the bridge.
Yeah, it overlooks the bridge and the river there. So I was like, hey, I like really want to take you here, like it's a really nice spot. So we were already meeting them there. And she, you know, she's freaking out and kind of hyperventilating and getting herself together.
That was cute.
Yeah. So she's getting herself together, and I'm like, oh, okay, like there's people waiting on us. But she was like, who's here? Like, who's meeting us? Because we had always talked about it, and like the big thing was like, oh, she wanted her parents there, and I wanted my parents there, like all this stuff. They were up there, but she was like, oh, who do you got up there? I was like, no, nobody.
Because I was like texting Lauren, And she was sending me pictures of her like cuddling with Brayden, like her son, on the couch. Like she was at home. Like that girl, smart girl too. Like she's, yeah. We walk up there to Whiskey Thief. He's like, well, we gotta go meet, you know, Lauren and Jake. So we have Lauren and Jake and Lauren and Bryce, and they're all best friends too. So we get up there and I walk in, and I'll attach like the video in here, but like that they took. So I walk in, we're walking into this bar, and I look forward because I had this little inkling that people might be there. Like, of course, like at least some people. And so I like walk in, and there's a group of girls staring at me. I don't know any of them. I'm just like, okay, like my face like happy, but like I'm trying to look at their faces, and I'm like really focusing on them, cannot picture any of them. And then I find out that Lauren is in the middle of them, like Lauren, my friend Bryce's wife, and I see her like cuddled in the middle of them taking the video because they were at the first table walking in. But I look to my right, and there's everyone, like our parents, Katie, David, Bryce, Lauren, Lauren and Jake, just everyone was there, and I was just so blown away, and it was genuinely like the best moment of my life. Like I could literally cry just like thinking about it again. Like it was literally
Okay, you gotta calm down. Wow, don't be doing all that.
I haven't like talked about it like this, like in like the full story of it. Like it was just so cool. It was perfect.
Well, that's what we were trying to do. Yeah. I knew going into it, I was like, I want it to be at this spot that means so much to us. Something that's going to be, you know, meaningful, and a spot that's going to be meaningful. You know, we're just thankful for the folks that were able to actually get there, congratulate us, and just, you know, celebrate with us, because that was the biggest thing. Like, well, we're not really looking for congratulations, just more of like a, you
Let's
guys celebrate.
In the world. Yeah. Afterwards, he had this really cute, I thought we were still going to Jake and Lauren's house to sleep. I didn't think anything of it, but he had like booked this beautiful Airbnb for us, a little studio place, and we went back out with everyone, and, you know, having my mom there with everyone, and Wendy, and like my parents and his parents, just they work, they love each other, and it's just amazing. And yeah, no, I mean, honestly, we had our engagement party, and you guys saw that recently, and it's just like having everyone there, and everyone that had such like a big part in like forming who we are and us as a couple. It was just like such an amazing time, and all of this as a whole is just like an amazing time in our lives. And you know, we're taking our time getting married with this date and everything, but we really want this date. We're obviously very sentimental people, so especially me. I mean, I feel like I'm
super sentimental.
You can be.
Oh, I'm super.
Yeah, you can.
Super duper sentimental.
But yeah, so, you know, the number one question we get asked is like, why are you guys waiting for so long? We've been together for 4.5 years. We own a house together. We own puppies together. We have a kitty together, even though he doesn't claim them. Only claims Taya.
Well, a cat and 2 dogs.
Yeah, thank you. So we're not going anywhere. You know, we just have more time to plan, and, you know, we've already made adjustments up to now. I talk about that in next week's video. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you stay tuned. But I appreciate you and everything that you did to make this happen.
I appreciate you. Look at you.
I love you.
Looking all sexy as hell.
I cannot. And here's my ring as a close-up. Oh wait, I gotta cover your face so it'll focus.
Fucking rock.
Yeah. Isn't that just so beautiful? I love it so much. There's like a little hidden heart under it. I absolutely love my, I literally am covering your face to show this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. And thank you guys, oh, thank Chuck for sitting down with me. Thank you guys for being here. You guys, I started vlogging right before I met you. Like, probably in the same year I met Chuck that I started vlogging. So it's been 4.5 years of vlogging, 5 pretty much.
Say hello to camera. Say hello to camera.
Come on. Oh, okay. There she is. You got her.
There she is.
There she is.
Little celebrity moment for the top.
Anyways, we love you guys. We'll see you guys next week for another video. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and see you guys next week for another video. We love you.
What's up?
You're out.
Down. If you need help planning a video or planning a proposal, give me an email.
You probably wouldn't even want to do it. Would you really want to go through that again?
Sure, I would.
Yeah, okay.
I would love to.
Okay, we got to go. There's too much happening here.
Bye.